It's now time to speak with an infrastructure specialist with experience in public-private partnerships and project financing based in Kenya. Vishal Agarwal is also the author of the book Give to Get, which focuses on rarely discussed challenges of business leadership. Mr. Agarwal, welcome to the program.
Pleasure.
Now, power supply is a major challenge in some African countries. Do you see renewable energy as a solution?
Only 1 in 10 Africans across the continent actually have access to power. There are only over 500 million Africans without electricity, and projections show that we're going to have that continuing until 2040. So if you think about renewable energy, the problem with renewable energy is all around scalability, to have large amounts of it, put into generation, to have a grid that's stable enough to be able to support it, and to have financing available to crystallize those projects. So while I think it is a good long-term solution and a sustainable solution, I don't think it is today's demand fulfilling solution, right? So that's the problem with what's happening with renewable energy versus the demand that we have.
Governments sometimes are not good managers. From your 24 years experience as an investment banker, do you think Kenyan government would know better in managing this project?
If you kind of look at the history, government managing generation is neither necessary anymore with the great success of independent power producers across the region, in all African countries, let alone worldwide. So the history is that is not the best spent resource from a government standpoint, right, in terms of managing these generation projects. And in fact, areas where government can be effective, which is fixing the transmission distribution, helping with the supply chain to get power projects going, the government, for example, in the case of Lake Turkana, has effectively failed. Right? So, to ask the government to manage an IPP is going backwards in my view.
Still on energy, Kenyan government is set to make its first export of crude oil. Do you think this would become a major contributor to the country's economy?
So we're talking about 600 million barrels of crude that's been discovered. To give you a sense, if that crude is pumped out at rates like Saudi Arabia and other Middle Eastern countries, we have about 50-odd years worth of oil. So that's not a lot. Having said that, you're talking about maybe $90 billion worth of total impact to the economy, so not quite 90 billion, but 9 billion shillings worth of impact annually to an economy that's about 90 billion shillings, right? So, the Kenyan economy is between 85 and 90 billion shillings in terms of size. And if you have an annual contribution from a crude production standpoint of about 9 billion shillings, that's not a small contribution to our fiscal revenues as a country. So we should be excited about this. We should celebrate it and work very hard to build efficiency around the sector. But this is not a very large find of oil.
Well, thank you very much for those insights.